Welcome to Fun Story Clips. Here, you'll enjoy inspiring stories while practicing English with easy-to-follow phonetics. Every story comes with a small life lesson to reflect on. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay with us. And now, let's begin today's story.
The story of three naval generals from Germany, the US, and the UK discussing true courage may sound humorous at first, but in reality it is a profound metaphor about how people respond to authority, discipline, and the value of freedom. The German and American sailors, when asked to climb flagpoles hundreds of meters high and jump, carried out the orders without hesitation. Their actions seemed to show loyalty and bravery, but in truth, they reflected blind obedience. They never questioned, "Why must I do this? What is the purpose? Is my life worth sacrificing for a meaningless display?" Their lives were placed entirely in the hands of authority. This was not real courage, but mechanical compliance. By contrast, when the British sailor was given an even more absurd order, he openly refused. He did not lower his head or pretend to agree. Instead, he resisted directly, even confronting his superior. On the surface, this looked like disobedience, but in fact it expressed another dimension of bravery, the courage of reason and awareness. He knew that protecting life and human dignity was more important than being used as a tool for someone else's vanity. The lesson here is unmistakable. True courage is not always about obedience. It is about thinking, questioning, and daring to stand up for what is right, even if it means facing criticism or difficulty. In our modern lives, we encounter the same situation more often than we realize. Many people act like the German and American sailors. They give in to pressure from bosses, family, or society, without asking whether it makes sense or benefits anyone. For example, some work day and night to please a superior, ignoring health and family. Outwardly, they look dedicated, but in reality, they are destroying themselves. This is nothing more than jumping from a tall flagpole for the sake of appearances. In relationships, too, many accept unreasonable demands simply to avoid conflict or rejection. But true courage is not living only to please others. It is respecting yourself, knowing your worth, setting clear boundaries, and daring to say no when necessary. Courage is equally essential in personal growth. Fear of failure or criticism often keeps people trapped in comfort zones. They live under the invisible orders of safety and routine, never daring to change. Yet true courage does not mean rushing into danger blindly. It means daring to try, daring to grow, daring to walk your own path even when fear is present. In short, true courage is the union of wisdom and bravery. A courageous person is not someone who never feels fear, but someone who acts rightly despite fear. Courage is not only about sacrifice or loyalty. Sometimes, courage means resisting unreasonable commands and standing firm for truth. From this naval story, we can draw three timeless lessons. Blind courage leads to meaningless sacrifice. Intelligent courage brings growth, maturity, and real freedom. Courage is not always obedience. Sometimes, true courage is refusal. And in the end, when we live like the British sailor, daring to reject what is absurd, daring to defend truth, we discover our truest strength, our deepest freedom, and the noble dignity of being human. A life guided not by blind obedience, but by awareness, values, and integrity.
Fun Story Clips.